The Reserve Bank is set to ban card surcharges, a move that could shake up flight rewards, fees and the way Australians pay. But one truth remains: the banks never lose. To discuss that, let's bring in Dr. Stephen Entiker from CIA Tax. Good to see you. Why is the RBA now moving to ban surcharges on debit and credit cards?
Well, we've got as you know, every time you go to pay nowadays, you slug with a 1% or 1.2 or 1.5% surcharge on the fee. But interestingly enough, if you've got a debit card, you're actually not using credit, you're actually paying from your actual bank account. No, they're hitting you with a surcharge fee on the debit cards as well. So they really want to ban it as a whole to get rid of debits. But in a way, I think we're all getting a little bit tired of, buying a coffee and it's not $4, it's $4 whatever, when they put the surcharge on top.
Where are you getting your coffee from? It's never been $4, it's $5.50 to start with.
I can tell you, I'm an accountant, so I'll tell you where I get mine from.
Yeah, you probably make it at home.
But at the end of the day, the mantra is you don't get nothing for nothing.
Yeah.
We all hate those credit card surcharge fees, whether it's a credit or a debit card, but we love our points. We love our Qantas points, we love our whatever points, and we love accumulating them. Vendors hate, for example, people paying with American Express because the credit surcharge is so much higher.
They just pass it on.
They do.
The thing. And if they stop passing it on, they may stop allowing the cards in the first place.
That's right, and that's what's going to happen, and that's the risk to the bank. The banks actually love credit cards, I can assure you. They make good money on them, that's why they give them to us. If they get rid of the fees, what they're going to do is just increase the cost of a credit card. The bank never loses. So if we stop paying surcharges, the bank's going to go, oh, that's lovely, we'll let the people, keep their money. No, they're just going to think of a new way to do it.
I think we all got used to the fact that it was part of the quid pro quo with credit cards when it came to rewards points for airlines, but not debit cards. Debit cards felt like it was our money, we're not borrowing the money from the bank, so therefore there shouldn't be a fee, we're just using our money with a bit of plastic and a bit of tap. But they've found a way to do that too. Why?
Well, it's all about making money, isn't it? The banks exist to make a profit. And at the end of the day, if they're not taking it from us in our debit fees, which I think, to me, that's a good compromise, get rid of the debit charges, but they won't go there because all of us are getting a lot better at paying our credit cards off regularly and not paying any interest to them. So, the bank will always win. So my view is I really love my frequent flyer points. But if you actually do the numbers on them, 100,000 points that you've accumulated, you've probably spent between $100,000 and $150,000 to actually get that.
I often think about that. You probably are spending more money to be loyal with an airline than if you were to just do it yourself and pay the actual fee.
But it works if you're in business. So, at the end of the day, if you can use your card for business expenses, the fees are tax deductible, they're part of your expenses, and then you use your points for personal flights, not business flights.
I love to talk about aviation, and it seems to be that is the direction that airlines are going in. If you think about Qantas, you've got the Jetstar, which is going to be for the debit card users, and you've got the Qantas, which is going to be the premium travellers using the work card and accumulating their points that way. That seems to be even the way that planes are being spaced out. There's a very small economy on these premium carriers these days, huge business class, and most of those people are either flying thanks to work or they're flying thanks to points, not spending the $10,000 return to London.
And the joy is if you get your business to pay for your business flights and you fly business, you accumulate a lot more points that you can use for personal flights because they are fringe benefits tax exempt. What is the best way, and I'll never know as an accountant, what is the best value you can get using your frequent flyer points? Because people use them for buying a TV or something like that, or a reward flight.
Never ever use it at the store.
Exactly.
The thing that we often hear in the aviation industry is buy the flight with cash, upgrade with points.
Absolutely. That's it. It's 5 to 8 times more value. As an accountant, I'll never upgrade myself anyway because I want to use the points on another cheap economy flight. But if you do want to fly
business...
You
sound like a bucket of fun over here.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, my wife loves it. She went to the UK this year and she went on her own and she upgraded.
Would you put her on the wing? Or
well, she upgraded herself. But I said, look, don't get used to that because I'll never do it.
The banks obviously aren't happy about this, but the banks always find a way.
They will.
And we need them to. We need strong banks because otherwise they won't lend. And our superannuation funds are quite often tied up in how strong the banks are too.
Absolutely.
Which is the story we forget to tell when we're hating on the banks.
Yep, so the banks will lose momentarily, but then they'll pass it on with higher credit card fees. They'll pass it on to the retailer. The retailer has to absorb it. The retailer will put prices up to absorb that. So no one will actually win here.
Which is what I thought. When the government announced this, when the Prime Minister went out and said, we're going to be getting rid of credit card fees and any transaction fees, they're just going to increase it on the price. So it's going to move from below the point of the total that says credit card fee, and it's going to move up to the value of the product in the first place. It's not going to change anything.
And what does that mean? Inflation. They wouldn't have done this 2 years ago while inflation was running rampant, but now they've got, theoretically, inflation under control. Now's the time to start to bring these sort of costs in, because it will get passed on to the consumer. The banks never lose. They will never ever lose. Reward points will continue on, but they'll be funded in another way. So nothing for nothing is my answer.
Nothing for nothing always sounds good. Appreciate your time as always. Thank you, Dr. Stephen Entiquette.
Nothing happier than a tax deductible life, Aaron.
Thank you.